Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sesom. Come back to another video course, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Some of I haven't seen it on YouTube. Some of you I don't really know, but I'm trying to find the connection between Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8. So, because obviously this thing was about, y'all remember when this thing was about zombies? Well, there's like this virus stuff like that. We don't know what Resident Evil 8 has in store for us. But we do know stuff about Resident Evil 7. We're trying to get the connection between Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil 8. So, I was reading this, and I haven't seen anyone do any videos on this, so I figured I'd do it. Keep in mind, FYI, spoilers, because I kind of know the DLC of Resident Evil 7, I get the general gist of it. Anything that has plot holes, put it in the comments down below, okay? Anyway, so there's the Baker incident report. I know it's a lot, but bear with me. All right, so I already read this. This is the perspective of a journalist, but it's Zoe. We all know what happened with Zoe. Zoe turned into like this crystal thing, and we saved her. So if y'all didn't see that, go look at that. Hopefully I'll have that up. I'll do a video on that. And then we have Chris Redfield. Chris Redfield saved Ethan. I'm pretty sure y'all know this. And then he shot Mia. All right, but we don't know why. Hopefully this will give us some type of insight. I think my opinion, I think he's run by a lady, Demetrisk, and I think he's a werewolf. That's my opinion. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll figure it out. We'll see. There's a couple of things, because remember Zoe with the crystal, okay? Because that's really important in Resident Evil 8, because a lot of people turn into crystals. Anyway, Baker Incident Resident. So the Baker Incident Resident, July 2017, I think that's when they released it. A lot of people lost their lives. American countryside, blah, blah, blah. 2 survivors, Ethan and Mia. So everyone knows about this, by the way. This is all public. We're able to shed some light on the events, but there was a cover-up, and they disappeared, which they moved to Eastern Europe. So there is someone and something more powerful acting behind the scenes. So apparently Umbrella disappeared, and the blue Umbrella is the one that's cleaning things up. And then there's another thing where Mia used to work for, but you'll see. Zoe decided to investigate and follow the breadcrumbs. How can I be sure? Because I'm someone who was there. Zoe. First of all, here was how the incident report upon discovery by the world. So this is what she's going to say. This is what happened when this is what the news said. Right? So, family of 4 found dead. Officer reported the Baker family was dead, surrounded by current unknown. Jack Baker, his wife, son, Luca's daughter. She was dead too. They considered her dead. And the sheriff and then the other people who went and filmed were also dead. Right, so the social media said that thing with the dead family wasn't that where they found the giant black monster? So I'm pretty sure these monsters were roaming around. Someone already caught footage of it, like freaking Sasquatch. You think they were eaten by that thing? No way. It's not some cheesy horror movie. Yeah, probably. And old man Jack did say some crazy stuff. I remember him getting into a lot of fights. Cover up, and he probably killed the whole family and then offed himself. Cover up. They're trying to put fake news out there. Then when she went to the sheriff's office, this is what the sheriff said. I don't believe it. It's been 2 days, but you haven't reported anything else. Was it a murder, an accident, a suicide? And what's with the National Guard sealing the place off? What are y'all hiding? This is the sheriff of that town was like, hey, yo, what's going on? Why is the National Guard here and stuff like that? Anyway, a little bit was reported on the Baker incident, leading to rumors, speculation. The Baker's place was isolated from the community, sealing off the entire area, and this is when stuff was set in motion. I recall there was a lot of public pressure for information. I admit at the time I was being held in quarantine by a certain organization, and I couldn't see the news for myself. So she was held in quarantine at the end, and she said that a certain organization, we don't know I think it's Blue Umbrella, but we'll see. And then she was in quarantine. And then they let her watch the news, and this is what she saw. What was actually going on versus what the news was going on is 2 completely different things. And the sheriff's office said that the Baker family was killed by natural gas. All right, so it was a hydric sulfuric leak. Local area was covered up because it was a bunch of buildup toxic gas. Blah blah blah. The leak has been blocked, so they fixed it. However, the authorities have sealed off the area to prevent any further incidents. Obviously, we know not, because they want to investigate everything. These are all the people who died, and then these are the people who were injured. If something blew up, How are you gonna say that something like this has been going on for a while, and then all of a sudden something blew up, and then Ethan and Mia were the ones who got injured? That made no sense. Anyway, toxic hydrogen sulfuric acid, gas. They're kidding me, right? I heard there were soldiers, tanks, helicopters, the whole shebang. Bro, I didn't even know there was tanks. We only saw helicopters. The government's up to something for sure. And here comes the conspiracy theorists, nut jobs, woodworks from the Raccoon City incident. Because we already know what happened in the Raccoon City a couple years ago. There was all the zombies and stuff like that. And they're like, y'all look just crazy. Nah, it's all real. Black Monster, satellite photo of the shipwreck. So they know. They saw that big boat that was in the bayou. Then she magazine. So then they said that when they asked a geological scientist, he said that there's no such, there can't be a natural gas leak because it's only built up in volcanic activity areas, and Louisiana has no volcanoes. So that was where they left it off at. They said it was natural gas that blew up, apparently. Obviously fabricated. There was nothing about the murders, nothing about the monsters. All of it was hushed up. And then she said that her name was there, and she was wondering why. This was all during while she was in the quarantine, and she was scared because she thought that they were going to be like, boom, cut the loose ties. So the organization gave me a new identity, and they let her go. And then they thought that she was harmless, whatever. They gave her a new name, a new house, whatever, she's a new person, right? And it's for the best that she's under a different name for her own safety. So she tried to contact Ethan and Mia. I don't know if she still remembers anything that was going on. I'm gonna assume that as soon as she got the fungus, she don't remember nothing. She just remembers bad stuff happened, memory block. Now I'm alive. Ethan and Mia saved me, right? So she was trying to look for them. They disappeared, and she knows the organization where they were. So I decided to investigate the B.S.A.A. Now, the B.S.A.A. is a Bioterrorist Security Assessment Alliance, which is basically something that was created by the UN to combat stuff that, that the bioterrorist stuff. Bioterrorist, I don't know if you guys know, is basically if there's a bioweapon, a bioweapon is basically a weapon that is biological. So, like, if my blood poisoned people and I just started throwing it everywhere and I used it as a weapon in war, that's a bioweapon. So we all know the collapse of the Umbrella Corporation fell apart, but there's new places that started to spread out from that. She'll say it later. Anyway, their objective was to clean up the stuff that happened in China, Europe, blah, blah, blah. So she goes and she wanted to go and investigate that, right? So she had people who were a part of it, who she knew about it. She was very persuasive. She probably gave them the, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. She's single. And then she got some information, right? And this was the truth of actually what happened. So the secret meeting between the sheriff and then the B.S.A.A. basically told the sheriff what actually happened. And then they were like, you got to keep this quiet, plain and simple, okay? And that to just say that it was a toxic leak gas, that's it. And you try to speak to the chief about it, he's going to be like, nah, right? So the Baker incident, Class B, clearance. I'm sure if you guys remember Resident Evil 3 or 4, there was like different clearances with different cards and stuff like that. Anyway, and they gave us a full thing of what really Evelyn was. And then you can read it all there. But basically, we all know she was a thing that she creates mold and stuff like that, takes over people, blah blah blah. But she was created by the place called The Connections, which Mia worked for. And I didn't know that. I thought Mia was working for Umbrella. Nah, she worked for The Connections. Anyway, so they were trying to transfer her to America through the ship. And Mia, and it says right there, Mia was a part of it. But she escaped during transport, murdered everyone. We all know that. And then she ended up washed up on the thing. DLC shows you that. Anyway, she infected a bunch of people. Blah, blah, blah. They said if this was ever to come out, that the B.S.A.A. would be like, yeah, we know, we covered it up, blah, blah, blah. But as for now, we want to keep it as quiet as possible for as long as possible. It's a Class E mold. All the different things of how the mold works, blah, 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 and how people turned into different things. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's some pictures. I'm going to see if I could find the pictures for you. But basically, there's a lot of stuff that they didn't really tell us in Resident Evil 7. For instance, how did they create the people who were molded? Apparently, the reason why there's a bunch of tubs in the game is because they would put people in the tubs, cover up the tub, put a bunch of mold, let them marinate in it for like 4 or 5 days, and then they come out as this molded, which is nasty. Which is very interesting, because then if you connect it to Resident Evil 8, a lot of the things that they cover themselves with is everything is covered with what? Blood. So maybe blood has to do with something in Resident Evil 8. Anyway, so they explain how she became the bioweapon, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Connections. Connections is a crime syndicate with no base of operations. They're basically like a terrorist group that sells a bunch of stuff, bioweapons, so that they can make money. That's basically what it was, and Evelyn was one of them. Which ties in that any other side missions, if you ever go to like any games that like, you know, like Dave & Buster's or whatever, they all stem from the Connections. All those little side things. Long story short. So the CEO and president of the Umbrella Corporation, right? His right-hand man decided to go to Africa and was like, oh, I'm gonna do some research in Africa. But then in reality, it was just for him to rally as much as people as he can, so when Umbrella fell, he can take all the research, all the work from Umbrella and be like, boom, I'm now the Connections. So that's what the Connections is. How did Mia become part of the Connections? I don't know. They didn't tell us. Anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff here. Basically, this was just one of the many incidences that they covered up. And what happened, the B.S.A.A. manipulated the media. It was just easier for the UN to just do that. Couldn't let anyone know about Evelyn. They continue the investigation, and I finally caught wind of Ethan and Mia's location. So she found where Mia and Ethan are, right? So she found some audio tapes, and basically Ethan is systems engineer. That's why they got that nice house. And then they have to continuously go through these interviews. So remember when he was like, oh, it happened so fast. I had to do the interviews. I had to do military training. I had to do all this other stuff. So they knew what was going on. Before they had to release him into Europe, they were like, listen, we need to make sure none of the things that you're doing that you want to go and tell people, you don't want to kill no one. We don't want none of this. Any ulterior motive, says it right there. They just want to make sure everything is fine, right? And then they said, we'll let you go under one condition. That you go to a different country, we watch you, different identities, that's it. Ethan's like, what? And they're like, yeah, Europe. I don't know why Eastern Europe, but he said, fine, whatever, right? And then they said that there's a criminal organization, the Connections, that's looking for them, and they're going to be under witness protection, right? And then he wants to talk to me about it. Now, as for Mia, remember, Mia's the problem because they want to make sure she's free of the mold. She's mostly free of the mold. That's why she probably has to take antifungal treatment every single day to make sure that she don't get any of those fungal things inside her. And maybe even probably some emotional pills too, because you heard her. She was like, nothing's wrong with my memory. You know, like she was wilding in the beginning, you know? So that's probably why they probably figured something out. And that's probably why Chris had to kill her. We don't know. Anyway, so she said, did you tell him about my past? They said no. We don't really know much about her. Hopefully they give us some more cutscenes and we figure out more about her connections with the Connections. So she was part of the bad people. She just wants a normal life. She don't want to deal with nothing. So she figures out, Zoe's like, oh my God, they're in Europe. She just wants to smash Ethan. Let's be honest. So she finds out where they at. They don't want to tell them exactly where it was at, so she was looking for it for a while. 2 years go by, nothing happens. She worked for a small paper in New Orleans. Nothing happened. It disappeared. Like nothing happened. Gone, right? All of a sudden, she gets a letter by Mia. I don't know why. I think it's fake. But she said, how's it going? The B.S.A. won't let us talk to you, whatever, but I gave this to an employee that you know. I think I think Zoe might work for Umbrella. Don't know. Anyway. She said, I gave it to someone, here's the paper, blah, blah, blah. I want to thank you so much. If it wasn't for you, Ethan and I would have died, blah, 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 whatever. They're safe, they're happy. House is big. She's telling her all the cool things. And she said, here we have a baby. And her name's Rosemary, what, blah, blah, blah. They want to see her one day. She don't know how to reply, but she'll contact them one day. So she was ecstatic. She was really happy. And then she's happy for them, which is surprisingly, because I thought Zoe trying to smash Ethan. I'm not too sure. Anyway, she's glad the two of them were happy. Sorry, 3 of them, because the baby. And then there was another letter. And in the letter was a B.S.A. letter. Now, this is the letter. This right here explains all the things that Chris was doing. We could probably give some type of hypothesis, whatever you want to call it. This is a warning letter to Chris Redfield, so she probably got a copy of that. The B.S.A.A. was telling them, yo, listen, growing concerns of your recent activity, Hound Wolf Squad. I'm telling you, he's probably a werewolf. Without my permission, top secret documents, without permission, what are you doing? Your squad's in Eastern Europe. That was right before they killed Mia. And then who the heck is Miranda? That's Lady Miranda. Keeps popping up in the correspondence. They talking about that. And what's your investigation with the Winters family? I've been very critical on the Baker incident. He was the original 11. I can't let you go around doing whatever the heck you want to do. And on the back of it, it said it's not over. So I don't know who was writing that. We could speculate on who it is, but I don't know. But we know that Chris was going AWOL. All right. This is everything on the Baker's incident reference. She don't want to put it in the public. We know this because we're the viewers, so we see what's going on. She's gonna continue her investigation. She's gonna try to find them, and it says right here, she's Zoe Baker, right? So I think because of Resident Evil 7, we got to play as Chris, and we got to kill Lucas, and we got to do all that stuff, right? And we also got to play as Jack's brother, and we got to save Zoe because she was a crystal. Now, again, I think that the fungus can create people and put them into crystals, so maybe this is the same type of virus that's going on in Resident Evil 8, because there's a lot of stuff that has a lot of crystals everywhere. When someone dies, they turn into that powder form, and they have a crystal. We'll know more about it. I'm pretty sure Mother Miranda is the one that is in charge of all of it. We'll figure it out. So I think we're going to have a DLC where we play as Chris prior to shooting Mia, and then the end of the DLC is when we take that shot, boom, we shoot Mia in the chest, right? And like I said, maybe he's a werewolf or something, or maybe he's under Lady Damascus, or maybe Mother Miranda. I don't know. And then hopefully we get to play as Zoe, where Zoe goes to the house and maybe sees what's going on, or maybe we see her later in the game. That's how they're trying to connect Resident Evil 7 and 8. That's the summary. That's what I got. I want to know what you guys think. What's your hypotenuse? All right. Leave in the comments down below. I'll talk to you guys because I'm trying to figure this out. But anyway, check out the DLC if I have it up, and then check out Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 8. It's all here. All right. So if you have any comments, complaints, aches, pains, moans, leave in the comments down below. I'll get back to you guys as soon as possible. I love you guys. Stay at you. Woo!